Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, then you are listening to an unsociable hour, which would mean I'm Matthew Elliott White. This show exists to introduce you to awesome people, and tonight's awesome person is Kelly May. Kelly, how are you this evening?
Hello, I'm wonderful, thank you. I hope you're well as well, obviously.
All good, thank you. Kelly, I'm so glad you decided to join me on tonight's episode. You have been extremely supportive in this project, so it is awesome to have you here. You're also the creator of many awesome projects yourself, so please do tell us a little bit about
that. So I have my own blog, which was the start of my journey in what I do. And that's OK Must May Time, and it's literally just a blog about idols. I do reviews. I'm doing introductions to different idol groups that interest me at the time, and to give some more information to people who want to know about them. They're generally lesser known groups because I love research for one, and also I think it's always good to have that sort of information on the internet for future fans. So it's kind of it's my passion project. It's fun for me to create, but it's ultimately there so that other people can discover these groups. I'm also a YouTuber, though I'm not really doing that right now. But on YouTube, I'm a reactor. I do video reacts to Japanese music videos, and I talk a lot in them. It's kind of my key thing. I write a lot, I talk a lot. And then I'm also a writer for Selective Hearing, and it's really fun. I love writing for Selective Hearing. I've been doing that it'll be 9 years this year. And
Wow.
Yeah, blogging I've done for 10 years. And YouTube is also going to be a 9-year thing come next year. So it's kind of amazing that I've been doing all those things for so long. But yeah, I also review on Selective Hearing. I do idol reviews mostly. I sometimes do interviews as well, which is really fun and really cool. Scary, but cool.
That is cool. That is so many projects.
Yeah,
isn't it?
3 is a lot, to be honest. And the thing is, I've done a lot of other different things as I've been doing that sort of thing. I used to write for JAME, they're a really cool website. They're really big. They're really professional. But I was doing too much at the time, so I dropped that one because I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing enough for you guys. If I'm doing another project and I realise I've got too much on my plate, I will generally stop. And I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I've got no time for you guys, and I feel bad. I used to write for a place called Idle Minded, but that shut down, sadly. That was one of the first places I started writing for. Same with Selective Hearing. I kind of started doing those projects together, but the guy who did that, he was an amazing guy. He was awesome. But his passions for Japanese idols fell, and so did the website. So it closed, ultimately, and it's no longer available. I can't find it online anywhere. The website's actually dead. But the original website was International WOTA, and then it became Idle Minded. You can find International WOTA, but not Idle Minded. But yeah, I've done a lot over the years, which is good in my opinion, because I like learning, and every different place has a different aura to it and a different feel, and they want you to do a different kind of style. And I'm big on learning about writing in a different voice as well. My blog, I can just do what I want. It's my blog. But Selective Hearing, it's so much more condensed. When I was with JAME, it's I think it's JAME. Am I getting it wrong? I bet you I am. I don't think it is, though.
If I have done my research properly, which
it's JMO, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like I have, or I would hope I have. You have written for your current blog, OK.
Musume Time.
Musume Time.
Yeah.
You've written for International WOTA, Idle Minded, Idol Mania, Neko Pop.
Yeah, Neko Pop, definitely. Yeah, I've written for a lot, but again, it's all about like learning about how to do different styles for different places and using a different voice. But yeah, I have written for Jaime, and again, that one was awesome. I was with them for a couple of years before I stopped eventually because I just wasn't giving them content like I thought I should be, and it wasn't fair on them. And it's, I have fun working with other people. It is a lot of fun because they all have different things to teach you, and it's like they're like a mentor in a way, and it's awesome.
It definitely sounds kind of like you really enjoyed the time there. You had all these kind of writing commitments. It can't be surprising that it must have been so difficult to juggle all of the content. I can understand with what you were saying in the sense of maybe with juggling all the projects, it felt like you couldn't give 100% on each individual platform, but it's amazing that you kind of had all of those platforms publishing your content also.
Yeah, it was fun. I think one of the other aspects of one of the other reasons for why Jaime kind of fell through, I was also in university at the time, and I think it was my dissertation year. So that was also a huge commitment.
No, like 100%. I can imagine that. So your blog, okay, Musume time. I'm gonna just put this out there now. I struggle with the word Musume, and that is due to a guy named Eric who used to run the Gaijin Kampai podcast, who for years used to say morning Musumi.
Yep.
And so every time I see it, I now have to differentiate which one is the correct term and which one isn't. So I do apologise up front. So
I say Musume, so it's
Musume.
But I also abbreviate my blog title to just OMT. Like a bit like OMG, but it's OMT.
Oh no, that's pretty cool. Well, that's definitely not going to trip me up. So
no, it's easier. So call it OMT. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's what I do.
Okay. So OMT, one of the most difficult things for me in creating this show was deciding on a name, because the name has a lot to live up to, because you want it to be something that's recognizable, something that people will remember. And okay, Musume Time is a great name, but it was created over a decade ago, so I imagine you were quite a different person back then. So, so what does the name mean to you today?
Okay, so I've actually been thinking about changing it recently a lot because of how, in my opinion, it's not aged as well as I would have liked it to. But for me, it was during a time where I was a new fan, not necessarily new fan, but I was still a newer fan to idols. It was still like my first year or 2 years or so being a fan. And at that time, I was very passionate about Morning Musume or Musume. And I really, really loved that group. And I loved Hello Project as a whole. And making the blog, I wanted to dedicate it to Hello Project. It just so happened that as time went by, I kind of grew out of Hello Project and became a bigger fan of other idols. And it just changed like that. But the name itself, I wanted something that obviously I liked. And at the time, blogs that were being created then, mine included, a lot of them were named after idol groups or idol group singles. So I had friends who were naming their blogs after songs from like their favourite groups. And I just really liked OK Musume Time. OK was actually originally going to be Okai Musume Time, but kind of a play on words in a way, because my favourite member then from a group called Kyuto was Okai Chisato. And so I was going to call it OK Musume Time, but pronounce it as OK Musume Time. Instead, I just went with the OK because I just preferred it that way. I thought it would be a bit less confusing for people. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a cute name. And as I've grown up and matured, I look on it with a bit of like, oh, it's a bit cringe, but it's my brand. So And to be honest, I'm not looking to make it professional at all, so I don't really see any point in changing the name. I feel like if it's been OK Must May Time for a decade, I want it to continue being OK Must May Time, because even if it's a little bit cringe, I'm a little bit cringe as well. And so whilst I do think, I wish I changed you a while ago, I'm also happy with how it is, because it's just memories of a blog that I'm proud of something that I created that has managed to stand the test of time for like 10 years, nearly 10 years. It's like, so yeah, I look back at the name with fondness and with cringe.
It is, you are 100% right in the fact that it is your brand. It is, and I think it's a great name, because I think that it's definitely unique. You know, nobody else, I imagine, would be using the name OK Musume Time. So it kind of, and what's most important about it, I think, is, as you said, when you think of the name, of course, you might get a little bit of cringe, because obviously you were there at the start. You know how much you have developed as a writer, and in terms of opinions. But it's nice to know that even 10 years later, you can remember the origins of the name and what it meant to you then.
It's definitely special in my heart. Like, I look at that blog and I'm just like, I'm so proud of you. I didn't think it would last a year, because I had tried blogging well before that, and so I had anime blogs, like reviewing anime and manga and such, and they never lasted a year. And I thought, okay, it's going to be the same with this blog, because I just can't stick to anything. I'm kind of like one of those, like the Japanese phrase 3-day monk. I'm a 3-day monk. I kind of pick up a craft, enjoy it for 3 days, and then I stop. Like, I put all my soul into it for a few days, and then it's done. But with OK Must May Time, it's withstood that. It actually helped my love of idols to grow a lot more than I anticipated, and it gave me something to keep continuing within this fandom. And I'm so grateful towards my blog. I feel like my blog is not a blog. I feel like it's more than that. It's a part of who I am, and I just adore it for so many reasons. I mean, it frustrates me, don't get me wrong, but anything you put your heart and soul into, it's going to frustrate you at some point. But like, OK Must May Time, I look at the title and again, cringe. But I also think, wow, I was such an energetic person back then. I'm still energetic, don't get me wrong. But I was so energetic about making that blog. That's why there's the exclamation point in it. I wanted it to show that energy, like, OK Must May Time. I wanted it to be yelled like into the blogosphere. And again, it was definitely young, because I was 17 when I made it. 17, wow. 18-ish. So yeah, 18. 17, because it was made a few months before I actually posted on it. And it was definitely an immature person's blog at the start, but it's grown with me, and I've grown with it. And yeah, the name definitely feels like something I wouldn't have now. I like much cooler titles now, but I'm happy that I've kept its name, because the name is a part of its legacy. It's like when you're born, that name is a part of who you are.
That's a great way of looking at it. And again, you can boast 100% that over 10 years, your blog, or almost kind of like more like your diary of how you were feeling about certain songs and about the industry at that point, over 10 years, you've watched it grow. So it's a collection of your thought. I suppose, in a way, it's a collection of you growing up.
It is, and it's why I don't delete posts. I refuse to delete posts, because I feel like, even though my opinions have changed, I need that past post there, because even if I look back at it and think, oh God, why did I say that? Why was I like, because I was a very opinionated blogger. I was at one point someone who would not listen to anyone else's opinions. And then I changed my tune really drastically. And I'm glad I did. And whilst I do look back at some of those posts and think, why was I like that? Why did I do that? I won't get rid of that blog post, because at the end of the day, you need to see that there. It's a timeline. It's kind of like when you're growing up as well as a person. If you don't look back at what you've done in the past, you can't acknowledge, you can't change in the future. You've got to understand where you started in order to be able to see how you came to be the person you are today. And I refuse to delete anything. I've got an old rant post in a draft that is like, I ranted and ranted, and I never posted it because I posted a much more cordial one afterwards. But I keep that rant there like it's from 2012, and I keep it there for the sake of, this is what you used to be. And this is like how angry you were, and then you made a better post off of the back of it. And like, just keep this here to remind yourself that you had to be a bit more humble and grown up about a situation. Well, not, a bit more mature about a situation.
How do you feel about your older opinions?
Oh God, I was very much. I just feel I was immature. I was young. At the time, I'm glad I had my opinions. Don't get me wrong, because I was someone that a lot of people told to shut up. I was someone that people were like, you can't say that, shut up, you have to like what we say, but we can't accept what you say. And I was the same about that as well, don't get me wrong. And I just had a lot of people who hated me at one point, especially in my early days as a blogger. And whilst I'm not happy with how I reacted to a lot of things, I'm good. To say I was glad to have that aspect of my life is weird, because without it, I wouldn't have become the person I am today. Like, you do certain things in your youth which you don't look back on fondly, but which you think about and you think, okay, what I did was wrong, but it's helped me to slowly develop into who I am now. Some people stay the same. Some people don't. I happen to change. Some people don't think I've changed, but those are people who made an opinion about me years ago, and they've kept that same opinion because they have refused to get to know me or to get to know the changes I've made. And I'm not happy that I was the way I was, but I'm glad that I was, because of the fact that it helped me to become the person that I am today, the writer that I am today, and the Idol fan that I am today.
Yeah. You first of all, you should never ever be made to feel like you cannot have your own opinion on something. Just if somebody else doesn't agree, it does not matter. You are entitled to your own opinion, whether they like it or not, because it is what is true to you. And if they choose that they don't want, if they choose that they just kind of want to take you on that initial opinion, then fuck them. Yeah. Because they're clearly, if they're not willing to get to know you, then they're not really worth having around, are they?
No, there's some people who literally do just want to read my blog. There's some people who just want to watch YouTube. And there's some people who want to get to know me a bit more. I've made a lot of friends through my blog and through YouTube, thankfully, and it makes me happy that this world is connected by music and that we can find each other through music. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of the things that makes me so happy that I became a blogger and a YouTuber, that I was able to connect with other people and find friends. It really did make me understand that music does not have a language, and like, we can just consume it together and love it together. It doesn't matter. There's no barrier when it comes to music. But at the end of the day, it's like, there was a reason I started putting a disclaimer on my blogs about opinions. After I changed my tunes a bit, like, and started growing up a bit more as a blogger, is I started putting a disclaimer saying that my opinions, I can't say opinions, my opinions are my own, and yours are yours. We can discuss this, but you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. Tastes are subjective at the end of the day. And that's kind of become my brand now, that it's like, you have your opinion, I have mine. It doesn't matter as long as we like something, and if we like the same thing, that's awesome. But if we don't, okay. So I review a variety of music now, and not everyone's going to like it. I love ballads. I have so many friends who hate ballads. They think they are absolutely horrible and boring, and I love them. And I can't change my friends' opinions on them because, it's their tastes. I don't like screamo music, but it's just how it is. We all have different tastes. We are all individuals. Nobody is going to have the same likes and dislikes. We'd be a really boring world if that was the case. But when I was younger, a lot of people got into fights, like not just me. A lot of my friends got into fights with other people over favourite idols or favourite music. And, I still do sometimes, don't get me wrong. If someone gets me heated up, I will be just like, okay, screw you. We're going to have a fight now. But I'm trying my best to get out of that mentality because I don't like it. I don't like causing drama anymore. It's like, as a kid, I liked causing drama, but I've grown up considerably since then. It's like, but I acknowledge like my mistakes and my weaknesses and such, but I'm glad that I've grown into someone who is like, everyone's opinion is amazing as long as you don't step over the line with your opinion, like saying your opinion's trash, mine is better. I'm cool with you as long as, again, you don't step over the line and actually start to insult people.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing with opinions is that everybody has one and everybody thinks theirs is right.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's all subjectivity, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is. And as you said, just to repeat what you said, because it's totally right, if we all felt the same way about everything, it would be so boring. There'd be no point in any of us really discussing anything. But honestly, you should never, ever let yourself get dragged down by anybody else's issues, because the likelihood is that, they're missing something. You're not. So...
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, just to be honest, I never let anyone drag me down. I was very thick-skinned. I'm still quite thick-skinned when it comes to writing and reviewing. I'm still just like, nah, my opinion's my opinion. If you don't like what I say and you can't take it with, like, grace, I'm just going to leave. Bye.
Personally, I have enjoyed looking into your reviews. So, firstly, are you ready for some cringe?
Go on. Sure.
Right. I'm going to say these words first. I'm probably going to butcher them, but I'm going to say them first, and I'm going to see if they mean anything to you, okay?
Okay.
Appare kaiten sushi.
Appare kaiten sushi. Wow.
See, it seems that you really liked the song, but you did not enjoy the PV.
No, that was my first ever PV.
That is the old. So as a reader, that is the oldest post that I can see on OK Musume Time. It's dated Thursday, the 18th of November, 2010.
That's my blog's birthday. I class that as my blog's official birthday, and that review. And I've always been open about it. I still look back at it like I made that review out of pure anger over the music video.
So before we go any deeper, I would hope that any listener will go over to OK Musume Time and read as much as you want, as much as you can, because it is Kelly, it is absolutely fascinating to see how much you've changed over 10 years, even in terms of how your reviews are structured. So I wanted to go as far back because I think that with anything, and I hope it will be the same with this podcast one day, I would hope that from the first episode to wherever it is at the time that you listen, I hope you would be able to see some kind of improvement. Now, with your blog, the first one is absolutely captivating, and it is because it is one of the funniest things I think I've ever read. The title alone is Appare Zaiten Sushi, the abomination they call a PV. And it talks about how much you despise the PV by Muten Musume, which was used to promote a sushi chain in Kansai.
Uh-huh.
It's brilliant. You're giving like a shot-by-shot critique, And it ends with some absolute beautiful quotes, which I'd like to quote if I may.
Go on. Feel free. I recently looked, because it's a 10-year anniversary of it this year, obviously, about PV review.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up.
Go on. Go.
Are you ready? Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm banging my head into my pillow.
Is the anticipation burning?
Oh, yeah. My face is.
I wanted real people and sexy stuff.
Oh, no. Okay, I've not read that far. Don't get me wrong. Okay, this was something that just popped into my brain. Like, a lot of my older reviews, especially the PV reviews, because I was big on PV reviews. That's actually what I became known for, my PV reviews. I did it so different to everyone else for a long time, and my commentary and then my reviews at the end were what people kind of knew me for a while. And it's only very recent that I've started doing more single and album reviews. I used to hate doing album reviews. They took too long. They still take too long. But those sorts of comments I made, I do cringe at any comments I think of from old PV reviews. And I'm like, oh, God, why did I do that? Sometimes I still overstep the line. I kind of go into the zone. I used to go into the zone with those, and I would... Sometimes you're just like, oh, look at their legs. Oh, they've got big ears. I love them, kind of things. Stupid things like that.
My favourite part is after that, and it ends with this fucking abomination of a PV. Fuck you, Kaiten Zushi.
Yeah, honestly, I was so pissed off. And I don't think many people have read that, because that was my first post, and I did not know anything about promotion at that point. I did not know anything about sharing stuff, or even tags.
But I will say, if anybody was to go and check that, a lot of people's, especially mine, if I was to imagine what a first blog must look like, a first post. That is incredibly detailed, because, as I say, you do like I'm guessing this is what you mean by kind of what you were known for. You would put shots up, like screenshots of the video, and do a running commentary.
Yes.
And it was fascinating to think that, well, this is already what I would consider a high quality review.
Oh, thank you.
Purely because of kind of how structured it is. I would have thought that maybe the first blog post would have been like 20 sentences, and then just kind of like improve over time. But I mean, you have obviously changed your opinion on a lot of things over time, and I think that's quite clear to see. The following day, don't worry, I'm not going to relay each post back to you. There's one that
go on. Oh, God.
There's one that you put up, and I found it really interesting, and it actually will lead into the question I'd like to ask. I'm not just going to remind you of all your old stuff, don't worry.
Oh, it's okay, I remember most of it, sadly.
Friday the 19th of November, so the day after, the title is Morning Musume, Top 8 and Top 5.
Yep.
Okay. Before I go into this, for any listeners that don't actually know anything about the Hello Project umbrella or Morning Musume, could you just kind of explain the concept?
So Morning Musume is what you would call a revolving door group. They have a graduation and new member system. So they started years ago. They started in 1997, I do believe. And when they began, all the girls had auditioned for Sunku's group to become a lead singer. And the last five, the five who didn't get in that he wanted to keep on, he turned into Morning Musume. And then they started adding generations in, and then girls slowly but surely started to graduate. And it kept going on like that. And they are in their 22nd year now, 23rd. It'll be 23rd on September 14th, because that's what they have as their official birthday. But yeah, they've been going on for 23 years now, and they have different generations of girls. Currently, their oldest generation is the 9th generation, and their youngest generation is 15th generation. But yeah, they have had a lot of girls in the past, and they have a lot of singles, obviously. But yeah, and they have I don't know how many members they have currently. I can't tell you because I don't follow them as much anymore. But
No.
they've got Fukumo Mizuki, Ikuta Elina, Ishida Ayumi, Sato Masaki, Oda Sakura.
Are you sure you can't? Are you sure you're not keeping track, Will?
I'm keeping track with the members, but not the numbers.
Right.
So we got Zuki, Erina, Ayumi, Sato, Oda. Oh god, we got Miki, we got Maria, we've got Akane, we've got Shi-chan, and then we've got the 3 new members. So the group is up to 12 members.
Jeez.
Right now. So yeah, they're kind of a big group. But when I was really, really into them, which was the Platinum era, they had just lost Kahara Kasumi in 2009. And when I made that list, my top 8, top 5, they had Takahashi Ai, Nagaki Risa, Kamae Eri, Nishishika Sayumi, Tanaka Reina, Mitsui Aika, Linlin, and Junjun. So they had 8 members, yeah, hence top 8 and top 5.
Yeah. So on that post, on Friday the 19th of November 2010, you place Tanaka Reina in 8th place, stating you are never much of a fan of hers.
Nope.
And you credit Linlin as your number 1 Musume. And you regret that she's graduating. So the question is, can you remember your first graduation?
Oh, it was Kahara Kasumi's, and that was in 2009. It was a year before I did my blog. She graduated at the end of the autumn tour for Morning Musume. She was the first member I properly liked. I cried. And it was just so sad. And Linlin was a great singer. She wasn't my favourite member, but she was the best singer, in my opinion. And I was sad. Honestly was sad she was graduating. Same with Junjun, same with Kamai. They were all great members.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Morning Musume seemed to play a huge part, a huge role kind of in Masumi time.
Yeah.
We spoke about this before, but how difficult is it to keep track with groups such as those? Because I imagine it must take so much effort. I spoke with I think all of the previous guests about how difficult it is keeping up with the idol world because it is constantly evolving. But the Hello Project is kind of like something totally different. It's on a new level.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a generic idol fan or an orthodox idol fan. That's what you call us, orthodox idol fans. It's like your previous guests are all more into old idol, which, you know, I'm slowly getting into, and I do like all forms of idol. I think every single idol out there is great. They have something to offer everyone, and it's great that we're getting so many different fans thanks to the alternative idol boom that we had a few years back. But with Morning Musume, because they're so big, because they have such a big Western fan base, it's not actually that difficult to keep up with news about them. Hello Project are a big company. They are a fairly, I wouldn't say well-off company. Hello Project are a big company, and they are well known within the Western world. A lot of people who were fans around the same time I got into being a fan, and even those before, their first groups were Morning Musume. Some AKB48, but most were into Morning Musume at first because you could find stuff on YouTube about them really easily. Now, a lot of people come into this fandom because of Baby Metal, which I find really weird because I'm a different generation to them. I remember when Baby Metal debuted. I remember Sakura Gakuin debuting, for crying out loud. It's like that kind of shows how long I've been a fan. And so yeah, for me it's not that difficult to find that information. It's like it's all over my Twitter, it's all over my Facebook. It's pretty easy. You just have to log into the Hello Project website, and they put news up nearly all the time. They're always updating with news. So it's not that hard to find information on them. It's not like alternative idol groups or smaller idol groups like Underground Chica Idols or Indies Idols. It's like those you really have to dig for.
Yeah. So, where did the passion for blogging start?
Oh, God. So, as I did say, I did used to do anime and manga reviews on a blog and such, so I'd already been dabbling in blogging. Prior to that, I had tried a variety of things, not just anime and manga. I did used to do makeup blogs as well and whatnot. But I wanted to do a blog on the side of doing, because I'd always wanted to do something with writing. I've been writing since I was a child. Like, I've just always been writing. My earliest memory is writing at the age of 7 and writing like romances and fairy tale retellings and such, and writing stories about Victorian children and things like that. I've always had an interest and like love of writing. The written word is one of my favorite things. It's the same with music. I never was actually invested in music before this. I like listening to CDs and stuff, and I thought music was nice, but I never actually cared to learn more about it other than to listen to it. And then when I was a bit older, I got into writing fan fiction, and I started doing that. And then I started doing those reviews for anime and manga, and that was actually in line with my YouTube at the time, because I started a YouTube channel when I was 13. And I was doing like stuff like anime music videos at the time, if you remember those.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was having so much fun with those sorts of things that I thought, okay, I want to try writing about anime and manga, but giving my point of view. And I would also review them on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel got taken down the line. I hadn't realised this until it had just gone, because I let it die for a while. But yeah, and then just one day I decided, and I think I had already tried to make an idol blog at one point, and it didn't happen. It just didn't work. And then OK Musme time happened, and I was waiting for the right time to start that blog. I didn't know when it would be. I was originally thinking of doing like a 30-day challenge, where it's like day 1 gives you a question and you just do a little bit of writing about it. I never thought to do an introduction post, like an actual proper one, like most people do. I just thought I'll find something to get me into blogging, and then it just so happened I really hated a music video and thought, screw it, I'm going to write.
That is awesome. So, you also run a popular YouTube channel, CHiiMA Time, with well over 1,000 subscribers.
See, I don't consider that popular. Well, I mean, I do. I mean, I consider it a big number. A big number for me. I've never anticipated getting something like that. But I also don't consider myself popular.
I would say that with well over 1,000. I mean, when I say with well over, I'm talking like 1,500. Almost, you know. So, and am I right in saying the Chilean Army?
My Chilean Army, yes.
The Chilean Army. Your videos are awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I've not done any in a while. I need to. I keep going into these periods of procrastination or absolute sadness. I call them my... what did I used to call them? I used to give them a name, but I've forgotten it. But yeah, I just have periods where, you know, sadly I suffer from anxiety and depression. So it's like I have periods where I don't do anything because of that. I currently have a period of not doing it because I'm just procrastinating. I've just found a lot more pleasure in writing right now. So, as opposed to doing filming and whatnot.
That is totally understandable. I mean, it must be so much effort alone with the blog, and with selective hearing. So I can't imagine how it must be juggling a YouTube channel along with that.
That's not
but I do very much enjoy your PV reviews. So,
Thank you.
So where does CHiiMA come from?
So it's weird. When I was making the name CHiiMA, I just wanted a pseudonym. Like, again, I was really young at the time, so I didn't want to use my name. And I've only in the past few years, I've started to use my name more. Like, originally on Selective Hearing, I was credited as CHiiMA, and then I said, can we change my name to Kelly May, my first name, please? And he was like, sure. Like, Bossman Greg was like, sure, that's cool, whatever. And it's like, I continue to use CHiiMA on OK Must Make Time because that's who I am there.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. And sometimes I end the review as CHiiMA/Kelly or just CHiiMA. Kind of depends on my mood at the time.
Okay.
But CHiiMA, I try and recall how it was, but could be wrong. I think it's a combination of one of my favourite members at the time, but also it was probably taken from Chi from Chobits.
Ah, okay.
And Ma might be from, like, because I used to dub as well. I used to sing in Japanese. I don't know Japanese, but I sung in Japanese. And I had a project, and they called me Mama on there, or Mama. And so Ma could have been tacked on at the end because Mama. So Chi and Mama became CHiiMA.
That's really cool. That is very cool. It's not just firstly, it's totally up to you how you want to be credited for this episode. If you would rather be Kelly May or if you would rather be CHiiMA, just that's totally fine. Just let me know what works best.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not right. It's not just your blog and your YouTube channel that you're quite well known for, though, is it? You're quite well known for something else. Something I witnessed across my Twitter feed last night. You are the host of an Idol Hunger Games. I watched it last night. It was glorious. Confusing, so confusing, but glorious.
I honestly think I'm the only one who ever understands it, but people have fun with it. If I do it at a better time of the day, I get a little bit more interactivity with people. Last time I did it, you know Adam. You know him too well. We all know Adam. He did an amazing thing as a part of joining in with it, and it was glorious. It had me in stitches. But one of the main reasons I continue to do it, because I don't know when I started it, but I started doing it with friends on Facebook, I think. And then I slowly started asking, okay, we're going to do it with idols now. Can you give me your idol, Oshi? And I just did it with idols because I could not think on the spot of so many idols that I could use it for. And it's just kind of grown into a thing I do on Twitter now, as opposed to Facebook. And I like it on Twitter because you don't have a lot of like writing space on Twitter. Obviously, it's very like you have a limit, you have a word limit, you have a character limit, and I think that's a great thing about it because then I have to condense it and try and make it as stupid as possible. My comment. I like playing commentator on it. I think it's amazing, and I could be just like, no! And I could say, I was hoping you would win. How dare you die on me? Or... My favourite part, though, is when it's like, it shows the cannons at the end, and I'm just like, okay, what song am I putting in on this today? It's like, we're all in this together from High School Musical. Yes, because it's stupid. Why not? It's just something silly, and it's just kind of evolved on Twitter, and now I just continue to do it because I find it fun, and other people like taking part. Some people don't get me wrong. But some people probably think it's really, really weird, and that's okay. But it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's a mess at times, don't get me wrong. But I do it when I'm procrastinating or when I just need something to chill out and do something silly, or if I'm really hyper, which is most of the time, to be honest.
I thought it was fantastic, and it is hands down, and I'm not just saying this. It was hands down probably the favourite thing I've seen on. It's the most fun I've had on Twitter.
Thank you.
because I didn't 100% understand what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I would recommend that anybody listen to this who hasn't taken part, take part, because it is fantastic. I had no idea what to expect, and it was so fast paced that I spent the majority of the time desperately trying to catch up on who was in and who wasn't.
Yeah.
I would get stuck through scrolling through things because I felt like I was going the wrong way for a time. So I think I died, then came back, then died and came back a few times before I realized that no, I was dead.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
It's fun. It's honestly fun. It's not just me playing it, it's everyone else. And honestly, I read the comments as I'm doing it because there's some pauses because I'll do like a day of it and then the cannons will boom and then we're like, okay, we'll send all those tweets now and then I will be just sorting out the next round and people will be commenting and I'll be just sitting there. I've had myself clutching my stomach because it hurts so much because they are hilarious. These guys are so hilarious. It's not just me who's in on this, it's everyone else. And it's the comments of the fans, like either saying Mayoshi, 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 or being like no, or something like that. And it's just so funny, and they are amazing, and they are a whole part of the reason why I do it and why I continue to do it because they just make me laugh so much, and it makes me smile so much. I love those games. It's just a lot of fun. And it brings in a lot of idols that people don't know about as well. So,
Yeah.
And you just get a lot of different fans. It's like there's so many different idols, orthodox idols, alt idols. It's like you never know. It's awesome.
Last night it was suggested that you had at least once hosted a 48-person game.
Yeah, that was my second time doing the 48-person game, basically. And that was fan and idols. Usually I just do idols or just fans, but I think I'm going to keep to the idol fan one because I think that's great. It's like you and your Oshi going up against everyone else. What is better than that?
It is. I 100% agree with you. I think the fan and the Oshi was so much fun. So I'm going to ask you now, in the concept of your game, what do you look for when you pick an Oshi?
Oh gosh, I change my Oshis all the time in the game.
I know.
It's like if I'm depending on the game, if I'm just wanting to be chilled out and I expect myself to die really quickly, I'll probably pick Himari or something. I either pick Himari or I pick my Oshi Miho. There was one game where I picked another Ready to Kiss member, Reina, and Miho and Reina, and also Himari. They all stalk Twitter. They all stalk their fans' Twitter. So I had them liking and favoriting, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. No.
I am almost sure that Himari must run photos of her face into some search engine because it seems like even if you don't mention her by name, she just kind of always finds her pictures.
She does. Oh yes.
Like she hunts them down.
Yeah, it's like if I'm playing it, I don't know. I just choose my Oshi based on who I'm wanting to use that day because I have a fair few Oshis. I'm not just like a full-on hacker Oshi for everyone. I do have my Oshis, and I just choose whomever I think is right for that day.
Definitely. No, that's fine. I wondered if you, because obviously as the creator of the game, I wondered whether or not it was you would kind of think of deliberate things for certain Oshis or whether it was just a purely kind of, I tell you what, I'll go with, for example, Himari today. I just wondered whether it was sporadic or if it was kind of calculated.
Nah, there's no method to mine that one. It is honestly sporadic.
Well, I think that's great because that obviously adds to the fun, and you never kind of know what you're going to get. So I'm glad that is the answer. Without wanting to get kind of too personal, we're around the same age and we live relatively close. So I imagine our childhoods were pretty similar. How was it for you growing up with an interest in Japanese music?
I got it. I started getting interested when I was about 12. when me and my sister went to, my sister's a year younger than me, and she went to a different school than I did. Because where I am, we still have public schools, which are all girls and all boys schools, and then we also have just a normal one. I went to the typical school. My sister went to the all girls school, and she introduced me to it through Fruits Basket, through her friends, and we grew up on watching anime and manga, and then she started asking me, like, do you know what Japanese idols are and such, and she kind of introduced me to Japanese idols as well. And I also found them myself through some anime like Mermaid Melody and Kiraran Revolution, because they had singing within the anime, and I've always liked musicals, so like that appealed to me instantly. And then I started watching Shugokara as well, and the opening and ending themes, I loved them. And then I found out Kahara Kasumi, who voiced the character in Kiraran Revolution, she was an idol in a group called Mon Musume. And I also found out that one of the groups who sang the openings for Shugokara were called Buono, and they were in the same company as Kaharu. And that kind of kick-started me following them. And it's just growing up with that sort of interest. I was a bit older when I found out, so I was around college age when I started really calling myself an idol fan, and I got a lot of, like, I was very open about it. I've never really shied away from it or told people like, oh, I like this instead of this. No, I've always been very open about it. And people have generally been very accepting of me for it. It's like my family are fine with it. My mother and my father, they supported me and my sister when we were really into anime and manga. They would buy us manga books and such. And then when I got into music, my family were like, cool, whatever. When I started my blog, my mum was extremely supportive. If I was ever sad, she'd be just like, go blog. That always calms you down. That helps you. It'll keep you at peace. You'll be happy. So,
that's excellent.
So yeah, I've always had people who are accepting of me. Obviously, as I said, when I blogged, I had people who didn't like me, but those are people on the internet. And it's like, it's just one of those things. But the people in my life have always been accepting of it. It's like, my sister, she knows I blog. She knows I love blogging. One time she was just like, oh, do you still blog? And I was like, yeah. She was like, what? I thought you quit that years ago. But it's awesome to know that they don't care, that they accept it, because it makes me happy. My parents have always been that sort of thing. My mum knows I love writing. My dad knows I love writing. So for them, it's just like, it's part of one thing that she already loved doing.
Yeah. It's great to hear that you kind of had that support network around you of people that kind of got it, understood it, because I think I think things are different now than they were when we were younger.
Yeah.
And I think it's not kind of looked on the same way anymore. These days, it's kind of a bit more widely accepted. Whereas when we were younger, it was a bit more of a kind of, oh, why would you be into that? You know, well, it was for, you know, other people and stuff. But I'm glad that you obviously had that support.
See, I think it helped because my dad likes art. So manga obviously is a form of art. So for him, that was awesome. Because I'm from a big family. I'm one of the youngest in the big family. But my older sister, one of my older sisters, she used to watch anime on the manga channel back when that was a thing, when she was a teenager. And so she was already aware of what manga and anime were. So she helped me and my sister further that interest. She actually bought us Chobits, like the manga book series, when we were younger. Like some of the mangas for it. Like she helped to kickstart mine and my younger sister's collection. And obviously having a younger sister who was into it whilst I was into it, it helped us a great deal in being closer together as siblings, because we weren't in the same school. So we weren't actually hanging out as much because we had our own things to do. We had our own friends. and we both had homework to do and whatnot. And so it helped us to kind of come together because we had a similar interest. Because prior to that, we didn't really have a similar interest other than Teen Titans and Shadow Showdown.
No, that is totally understandable. I'm glad that in a way it was able to, the interest not only were you supported then, it kind of brought you guys closer together in lots of ways. So that is awesome. You are extremely tuned in, obviously, to the whole idol scene. Do you go to many shows?
I try to. It's not always easy or simple because a lot of shows are in London, obviously, and if I have work, I've got no way to get to London in time for a show. Because obviously, like, we live a similar distance. But obviously, how you can get somewhere based on where you are is different for every county in England. So if there's a show in London, it's difficult to get to. I try to go to Hyper Japan as much as I can. Okay. Usually I'm okay with getting the time off for it, but not always. We'll see. Well, not this year with everything that's been going on.
No, of course, obviously.
But otherwise, I try my best to go. I mean, I got to go to some this year in January, February time because I went to Japan. So that was a lot of fun. And I got to go to the shows I wanted to go to. I got to see London Blue play in their home country. It was amazing. I got to see Aguma Ayame, who I'd been talking to previously, and I love her.
Yes. Yeah, she is lovely.
And I got to see a bunch of other generic idol groups, orthodox idol groups. I got to see Hokage Princess play Ready to Kiss. They were the first ones I saw, actually. And a bunch of others that I'd never seen before and just really liked. And it was so nice.
That's awesome.
To be able to be encompassed by that and to meet other fans and to be accepted by other fans. And it's kind of scary because I went all on my own.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm kind of a solo traveller to a degree. And I went all on my own. And it was different because obviously, though I understand, because I'm female. And whilst there are female fans out there, they are a lot fewer than male fans.
Yeah.
And going to Japan, I expected that, but it was a little bit like I never expected to sometimes be the only female fan at one of these places. Not just the only female fan, the only white female fan.
Yeah, there's the kicker. I mean, I can't. I've not been to that many shows out in Japan, but yeah, you don't tend to see many foreigners, I suppose. You don't seem to find, especially kind of ones that are possibly there on their own. So
no, but to be honest, it's still fun. It's like I got comfortable pretty quickly. It's like there were some shows I went to, like cross-dressing units are kind of getting a little bit more popular in Japan. And there were a few that I went to see because they're part of a company for a group that I really like. And they had female fans there. And the female fans were really nice. They would just hold my hand and bring me up and push me to the front with them. And we'd all be together, like with our arms linked and such. It was so nice. It's like just... And even just like the male fans, it's like they were so accepting. They would push me to the front to see the idols and... so nice, just so nice. And you know, I don't go to as many idol shows as I would like. I started in 2017. That's when I really started going to idol shows, with Kyoto being my first one, Juice Juice being second, Angelou being my third, and then the Chroma were my fourth. And that was one of the best performances I ever saw, in my opinion.
I was just about to ask, what's the best show? If you had to pick one, what would your best show be?
It would probably be Necno Idols. I had just come back from Paris with my friend, and we went to Manchester to see Necroma. And it was just such a fun time. The members were so nice, and Vicky so busy but lovely. Yeah. And just I think that they really do give it their all when they have a show. They are one of the best idol groups I've seen. Just, it's so awesome watching them. I've seen a variety of idol groups now, and I think all of them are awesome in their own way, but it's just like, I look back at NCHiiMA and I think of very fond things. It's the same with Saki from Double And. I look back at her, like, performances and I'm just like, she's so good. Like, but NCHiiMA is kind of unmatched in my mind.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. They are awesome live, and if anybody listening to this has not seen them already, you really need to, because they are fantastic. Kelly, what is your biggest passion outside of Japanese culture?
It's writing, 100%.
Yeah,
I absolutely love writing and film. Like, I just like well, more so music videos. I like watching music videos and just analysing them. I also love research. Research, analysing film or music videos, because they're shorter, so they're easier to analyse, but there's so much packed into them. Like, Jesus, they're so good. And writing, writing, just all three of those things. Especially together, writing, film analysis and research, they are amazing. I mean, I wanted to be a researcher at one point. I liked it that much.
that is, 100%. I imagine, though, from a reviewer point of view, I imagine you struggle to watch a music video and not analyse it.
A little bit.
Would I be right in thinking that?
Yeah, I struggle watching normal YouTube videos, and it's like, if I see that they're the lip syncing is slightly out with the audio, I go crazy. I'm like, I can't watch this. How dare you do this to me? What? Why?
You work on so many projects. How do you wind down?
I just listen to music or the Hunger Games simulator. To be honest, writing is sometimes my winding down.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the day. Sometimes I just sit and look at my CD collection as well, just to chill out. Or I play games, but I've recently started watching anime again. After, like, not watching anime for about 10 years, I've started doing it again. Yeah.
What's the go-to at the moment? What would you recommend?
Well, I'm currently watching My Next Life as a Villainess. It's like I'm just slowly getting back into anime, and that's one I've really I'm a big shoujo anime fan, though it's like I always will be. I'm probably gonna go back and rewatch all of Owen High School Host Club at some point, because that is such a good anime. It's one of my favorites. I want to watch it, and I'm probably gonna watch the Japanese dub, the English dub, and the live action version plus its movie, because I like watching remakes and such of things, and the originals as well, and comparing and contrasting.
I have seen the drama, which I always forget his name, and I'm terrible for it. But the guy in the Orin Host Club, he was also in Hanakimi. I can't remember his name, but I've not seen the anime, but I have seen the drama. I love that ridiculous slapstick, almost Osaka humor.
Yeah, it's so over the top and it's amazing. It's like the anime, I think they did so well with the live action, so it that says a lot. And if the live action's good, the anime is going to be great. I do suggest watch the anime because it is so funny. I just have so many fond memories of watching it, and it's one of those that I've kind of rewatched in the past, and it's like just recently, especially with current world happenings, and me having time to go back to some hobbies and whatnot. It's something I've been thinking, yeah, I need to go rewatch that because it's so good, and I really need just to have a binge and enjoy myself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for answering that. I imagine that there's so many things you must do to kind of relax. I just kind of obviously wanted to give you the opportunity to share that. I'd like to ask you some situational questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I can't ask you the bar question. Derek did that in the last episode. So
Yes.
here's the new one. If you bought a boat, what would you call it?
No. Boatsy. Like Betsy, but boatsy.
Boatsy. Okay. That was a lot quicker than that. I should have asked you the bar question, if you can answer it that quickly.
It would be your bard.
Your bard.
Like, welcome to your bard. Get out.
That is wicked. That is wicked. Would you rather be transported permanently 500 years into the future or 500 years into the past?
Oh no, this one's difficult because it's kind of interesting.
If I was to try to simplify the question, which I think it might be trying to convey, it's would you rather go back to somewhere that you know has already existed, or would you go into the future where you don't know what to expect?
See, my brain's like with the question before, and anyway, my brain kind of went to, okay, so do you want to know the history of your lineage? Like, because if I went back in time, I would want to find out about my ancestors, essentially, or just the past in general. I've always liked the idea of going back to the past, but going to the future, it's like, how has the world transformed? But I'd probably say go back to the past.
That's awesome, and that's a great way of thinking about it with the ancestors and stuff. Is you say that you've kind of got an interest in like going back into the past kind of thing. If you could go back to any time, do you know where you'd go back to?
It'd be the Victorian period. I've always, to be honest, it would probably be around the time when film started as well, like Victorian period or when film started. Like, I liked learning about early film and how old it is. Like, it's not very old at all, even though it seems like it is, but it's really not, because it only started in like the late 1800s, like 1890 something, and really kind of kicked off in the early 1900s. So I'd like to probably go back to that time to like just see people's reactions to it. Yeah. And also to learn about it and then come back and be just like, okay, I found all these films that were destroyed. Butterfly effect though, so I'd better not.
That is a cool answer. Would you rather die in 20 years with no regrets or in 50 years with many regrets?
Probably 20 with none, because I don't believe in regrets.
Good. So you would go for a good life, not a long life. Cool. I like that. Next question. Can I play Idle Hunger Games Simulator again next time? I will have revenge on those squirrels.
Yes. To be honest, one of my friends was like, I really don't want the arena events in the next one, and I found out I can disable it. And if you take away an arena event, because that actually does kill a bulk of people in it, if you take it away, that game is going to go on for a long time. Because my last game, no arena event happened at all, which really surprised me because I had 48 people in it. Well, 24 fans, 24 idols. And I was like, where's my arena event? I really need this. And I had about 50-something tweets in the end. It went on that long. And so I was really thankful for the arena event in this one, but my friend was like, I don't want the arena event. It went a bit too quick because of that. And I was like, I get that. So when I decide I'm going to be mad enough to sit through about 50 plus tweets again, cool.
Oh,
but yeah, definitely. You got to, the arena event, you never know what it's going to be. You might be able to go back and fight off those squirrels or push someone else into them. Or you might get a poisonous fog. You never know.
That's what's fascinating about it, though, is the not knowing. Do you survive the arena or do you not? And also, Ash, if you're listening, District 3 never forgets.
District 1. Oh my god, they impressed me in that one.
Was that Adam?
Yeah, Adam and Tom.
Adam and Tom.
With their Oshis, it was. I didn't expect just one district to stay until the end. And
That-
and it managed to be the top three: Adam number 1, Mel number 2, and then Ray number 3. And it's just like, wow, the top 3 is District 1. What the heck?
And also it's funny that Adam and Tom kind of survived the longest, considering that I'm sure Tom screwed Adam over in like the first move, so they had to go the entirety of it as well. Adam knowing he'd been betrayed.
I know, it was hilarious. It's always funny to see how these dynamics go, because obviously I've got no control over it. You've got no control over it. If I had a little bit more control with that game, I would totally change over weapons and have like a rubber chicken or, a spoon, a rustic spoon as like a weapon. And I would totally make up some really weird deaths. It would be the weirdest thing, because me and my nephew, we used to make up our own Hunger Games simulator before this one was actually a thing online, and we'd do it on like WordPad, and we'd use a randomizer on the net, and we'd just use our family and their names, and we'd see how we'd all like be slaughtered and by who. And so having this game was a godsend to me, because me and my nephew just loved doing it when we were kids, and now it's like I can do it more, but I have more people who are actually willing to do this and to give me their idols and their Oshis and themselves up for the plate, because it's just a lot of fun. And it's like I've now started having to make lists of names of people who are going to be in on it next time, because there's just not enough slots. 48 is the limit. It's so annoying.
Well, I am totally happy to give up my place to anybody that couldn't make it into last night's, but that was very fun, and I highly recommend everybody to check that out. Kelly, do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to give a shout out to?
Obviously, my 10th anniversary is coming up with my blog, so I'm planning on some posts for November. It's way into the future, but I do have an Idol introduction post coming up soon. So, yeah, and that's for Satanic Punish, because I've really kind of been getting into them lately. But for my November post, I am going to be writing a brand new review, a 10-year review for Apparakai Tenzushi.
No way.
And how I feel about it now. So it's funny that you brought that up, because I was like, wow, I'm actually sorting out that review now, and it's honestly going to be fun to see how my opinion has changed, I think. And there's going to be even more screen caps on there, more screen captures of the PV, and more commentary. More stupid commentary.
Well, I will 100% keep my eye out for that, because although nothing will ever beat the original, I don't think.
No, I don't think it will.
But I'm 100% excited to hear that, and I mean, we're going to speak long before anyway. But just a heads up that I just want to wish you a massive congratulations on all the hard work you've done with that, and having achieved 10 years on it is absolutely fantastic. I can't imagine being creative with one thing for that length of time, let alone something that is actually as much work as Musume Time. So honestly, congratulations with that, and do keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of it, honestly. It's one of the things I'm very proud of in my life, and I think I suck at a lot of things, so it's nice to actually like something that I've done.
Never put yourself down. You will continue to accomplish lots of awesome things, so don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Before we say goodnight, how can our listeners support you?
Literally just read my blog. I read my blog and just, take part in the Twitter Idol Hunger Games. Follow me on Twitter as well if you want. I don't particularly mind. I'm not really one for kind of plugging my own things too much.
Yeah.
Or promoting my own things. I only do it because it's a necessity, in a sense, to be able to get things read. But yeah, just read stuff, and just read my stuff and support the idols more than anything. And just listen to their stuff, to see if you like it. Because, if I like it, you might like it too, but also it might introduce you to someone new that you didn't think you would like before. And I think it's just, and also share stuff yourself. Like, do your own thing. Share your love of idols in your own way, whether it's through blogging, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook.
Awesome. We're about to kind of call it the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask 2 questions. The first one is, what advice would you give to somebody who was interested in blogging, who might be a fan of your blog?
Firstly, I say just do it. Like, even if it's like you have a fiery passion, a fiery hatred for something, just talk about it, review it, do it. Everyone's got their own way of starting something. So if you're a little bit more organized and you want to do it in a more refined way, do it like that. If you're having a hard time coming up with stuff, see what other people are doing and just don't copy it. Just imitate it. Take like kind of their structure, but write it in your own style and then adapt the structure to yours kind of way. But if you really are like struggling with starting something, try a 30-day challenge or try a top 10 list or a top 5 list of your favorite singles, your favorite idols, your favorite members, something like that. Just something simple. It's easy like that. It's easier like that.
Thank you for sharing that. I do hope that anybody that's interested, the people that you have inspired to do this, I hope they will go out there and start creating their own awesome content. I'm going to include the links to your Twitter and to Musume Time and also Selective Hearing into the show notes, so they will be able to kind of check out your stuff. I do have one final question, and it is quite an important one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you enjoyed being here?
I have. I've been smiling so much.
Excellent. I'm so glad you have enjoyed it. It has been awesome having you here, and I'm glad that we could finally do it.
Yeah, I'm so glad. It's been so fun. You're such a nice person. Oh my god. And it's been so nice talking to you.
Thank you very much.
I'm so happy.
Thank
you very much. I really appreciate it.
And you have been amazing to speak to as well. And I would love to have you back on at a later date. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Kelly May, also known as CHiiMA. She has been awesome, and so long as you've stayed until the end, so are you. So until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you again. Good night.